we're going to do an academic exercise now, stuff that Iggy and I have done in the past. What the Niners did by giving up 3 first-rounders, Iggy, and what else to move up?
A third next year.
Is extremely bold, bordering on controversial, and a lot of people on my Twitter think they gave up too much. The academic exercise is very clear. I want Iggy to make a case that what the 49ers did is good. And to make a sincere case. When he's done, I want him to make the opposite case, a sincere case that what they did is no good. That way we can air out both sides of it, and you'll see that Grant is a fair-minded person who can see both sides of an argument. Okay, are you ready, Iggy?
I'm ready. Okay, let me do my best.
Moving up and giving up that draft capital, a good thing for the 49ers to do.
Okay, and let me know if you think I'm missing anything.
Sure.
Seems to me that the Niners are in a Super Bowl window right now. They went to the thing a couple of years ago. They had injuries last year. They re-signed all their players. They're an older team. They want to win now. And whoever they were going to get at pick 12, maybe they didn't feel would change things enough to make them Super Bowl contenders. But they clearly really like whoever they're intending to get at number 3. If that guy is Mac Jones and he is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's the kind of guy who would execute well in the fourth quarter as opposed to Jimmy Garoppolo in that Super Bowl, maybe, and they do win the Super Bowl, then it's a good move. If they're right about Mac Jones and he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, then it's a good move. Or the thing that's interesting about this move, I don't think Mac Jones is that much better than Jimmy Garoppolo. It seems like that's a tough sell for the fan base. But there's this tight end. I know it sounds ridiculous, but there's this tight end in the draft who's like the Bo Jackson of tight ends. You could play him at wide receiver. He's the best player in the draft other than the guy who's going to go number 1. And the Niners are in position to take him. And I actually think if you put Pitts, this kid, and Kittle on the same field with Ayuk and Debo and Mostert, probably 15 to 20 quarterbacks in the league could take this team to the playoffs and do really, really well. So I think they're in a position at 3 to either prove everyone wrong about Mac Jones and get an upgraded quarterback, or get an upgraded tight end, give Jimmy Garoppolo an all-star cast, and then get a quarterback in round 2, which, I mean, that's when Jim Harbaugh got Colin Kaepernick. You can do that. So I think one way or another, there's a possibility that they get a player at number 3 who's just great and changes the course of their franchise short-term and long-term.
I'd like to give a little more substance to what you just said. As viewers of the Cohn Zone know, we have a dear friend who's a retired coach. We call him our cousin, but he's not our cousin. He's just a code word. And he actually agrees with what Iggy just said. Take the tight end, and in a later round, take this guy Mond.
Yeah, round 2. Right? Excellent player.
Right.
I prefer Mond to Mac Jones right away. I think if you put Mond at Alabama, he would have beat him out.
Okay. I think what you and the cousin are saying makes a lot of sense. I don't think the Niners can do it. I think there would be tremendous fan backlash and media backlash if they traded way up like that for a tight end when they have Kittle. So I'm not arguing that it may be the prudent and the smart thing to do. I just don't think they can afford to do it for public relations reasons. Now,
they would get crushed right away with it. Whereas with a quarterback, people are going to say, well, let's give him a shot. Let's see what happens. Let's give him 3 years.
Exactly. So before we move on to the next point of you saying why it was not a good move, talk about this Mond. Why do you think he's better than Mac Jones? And then why is he going to only go in the second round?
Well, he's a better athlete. He runs better. He has a stronger arm. I think he has more potential. But he didn't play on a college all-star team. He played at Texas A&M, which is one of the teams in the SEC, which is the most competitive conference. He went 9-1 this past year. He won. He started 4 years, but he didn't play with NFL players at wide receiver, tight end, running back. So his highlights aren't that exciting. There's not a lot of big plays, whereas Mac Jones played with first-round picks at wide receiver, first-round picks at running back. Like, his highlight tape is all a bunch of 50-yard touchdowns, but because look who he's playing with. If you put Kellen Mond on an offense like that in Alabama with the Niners, I think he would look a lot better, and we saw a little bit of that. There's a thing called the Senior Bowl where NFL teams coach all the best seniors in the country in January, take them through a week of an NFL practice, and they play a game. He was the MVP. So I think he's got some potential.
Okay. If the Niners were to take him with the third pick, how would people react to that?
Their heads would explode. The media isn't hyping this guy. They look at him as a second-round pick. I think he'll probably end up going in the first round, but I don't think they needed to trade up to number 3. He doesn't have that kind of draft stock. You could probably get him in the second round, which is a good value.
Iggy, I'd like you now to argue against yourself.
Okay.
You made a very good case on why it was good to trade up. And I think one of the key points was this is their window of opportunity. I used to talk to Brian Sabian with the Giants about this all the time. Lowell, this is our window of opportunity. We're not planning 2 years ahead. We have the team now. The Niners are not planning for 2022. They're not drafting a quarterback for 2022, although, of course, they are. But they want to win now. If they don't win now, they won't have the same team in 2022. So this is a very, very important pick. And that was Iggy's point in the first. They got to win now.